Thanks, Alicia. With fun, she means my tilted teeth. All right. Hi, everyone. Oh, I didn't expect that loud hi. I was thinking I need to bring a lot more coffees to get this high at this 3 p.m. right before your coffee break and this Friday evening. All right. So hi again. Hello. Awesome. So let's not be strangers. A brief about me. I work in India at a company called MoEngage. We are a software as a service. We provide solution, marketing automation solution. So the automation word excites me, and that's why I'm probably here. What our company does is basically help our customers to retarget their customers. In simple words, if your girlfriend or wife is swiping your card a lot of times, probably we can be the reason sending them those lucrative notifications. You can fight with me later on. All right. So, okay. So, like I said, I come from India, so I think it is important to give this disclaimer that I have an Indian accent. Guys, I speak like this. I am not trying to do any Apu from The Simpsons joke. This is how I speak. Give me some time, like we'll be fine. I think like give me 4 or 5 generations and my accent will be fine. Okay. So, yeah, this is again me, crazy me. This is what Alicia means, the crazy me. At the CloudGate Chicago. Luckily, I got chance to do development, code development, test development, testing, and now trying to learn a bit of DevOps also so that I can bridge those gaps. This is my Twitter handle, TechGirlPooja, which means that you can use it to like or dislike this talk. Okay, let's be with the former one. Ignore the later one, just the likes. Coming to the talk. So we're going to start with, okay, important. With this talk, we are going to meet one of our special team member, which Alicia was talking about. Her name is Alice. She's a bot. And we're going to understand why something like Alice we needed in the place first time, and why the hell we are talking about a bot in the Selenium conference. So we're going to understand that and move on to what it offers, understanding with the live demo. And I'm going to also, it's a pinky promise, I'm going to tell you how you can also make your own bot to solve your own problems. So sounds good? Yeah. Shall we go? Woo! Awesome. And if we got time, we're going to have a Q&A as well here or office hours. So to understand why, like Jim and Simon yesterday said, very beautiful story about IE driver and WebDriver, how it came in. There's a story behind. Same way I have a story, but not beautiful like them. I have a story of a typical release day conversation. I hope all of us will be able to relate with this. So here it goes. So it's a story back 2 years back at my workplace. We decided to take release live at 10 a.m. and at 9 a.m., right when while I'm doing QA, I logs into my computer and a colleague comes running. Hey, this critical feature is not working. Have you even tested it? How many feel familiar with this? Yes? Okay, so this is how it goes. So when that happens, I start imagining each person in my team is like playing a character. So here it goes, Batman. Yay, hey Wonder Woman. What are you doing? Okay, I'm trying to write good words because the slides are gonna go public. so yeah, so he's like, oh, Wonder Woman, what are we doing? This critical feature is not working. Have you checked it? Wonder Woman on the other end, no. It was working perfectly fine. I had checked it. Okay, let me check it again. And she checks, and she's like, oh my God, yes, we need to check with Hulk. Hulk is the developer of that feature, and Hulk is like, everything was working fine last night. And turns to another developer, Deadpool, did you? Familiar, right? So that's where, seeing the situation, Captain America, who is the CTO, comes to the rescue and like, hey guys, settle down and let's talk and find out just the buggy commit and revert it, move forward, right? The dharma. In India, it's called dharma. Then the Iron Man, who's a tech lead, comes along with the Jarvis, his best buddy, and hey, let's find out the huge commits list. So he's trying to find out, there are lots of commits into the system, it's gonna take time. Observing all this, it's already, we see 11 a.m., and the release engineer or DevOps is like, again, oh my God, we cannot release, you know what, you guys are okay, find the buggy commits or whatever, but if it crosses 12, I am not going to release because it's gonna affect the customers. Familiar? Yeah, I can see lots of faces smiling, been in those places. And the moment, okay, I missed one. So the release engine is like, let's postpone. And we know that when we say postpone, there are some people in the team always, no, we have promised deadlines, we cannot do it. Let's find out some way. Oh, I told you, not a beautiful story. So we know, like, we've kind of figured out there are lots of things happen in this scene. So anybody want to summarize, like, or give pointers, like what different things happened, or like what bad things happened in this discussion, or what could happen?
They all talk to each other.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm just going to summarize in 3 sentences. Like the very first one is the common goal. We are losing the release time. That's one problem. And on top of that, everyone is panicked. Everyone is trying to find a solution, but not getting there, and that starts creating the pass the ball, we can call blaming games, right? So it's going in that direction. So one thing is we are losing time to release. Second is the team culture, the team health is decreasing. Imagine if this discussion happens every day. Are you going to stick around that company? No. So that's what was the case when we were pure startup kind of thing. We were trying to do so many things at a time. So we decided we want to fix this problem, not run away or not ignore, acknowledge, address, and solve this problem. So, and one very, very interesting thing I just missed to tell, when such kind of discussion happens, being QA, we are exactly like Raj and Leonard in the middle. Like, we don't know. I don't know, guys. You guys figure out and find a solution. I want to take the release live. I want to test it and take live. Sounds familiar now? How many? Ooh. Yes, so we are the right place now. Then, okay. So now you're not going to take me out, right? Why are you talking about bot in Selenium conference? Okay. So this was the exact problem we were trying to solve, and that was the Raj and Leonard would have said bye-bye. I wish I could have done that, but not. So we figured out we want to solve this problem. So we went into deep that, okay, what are the problems and what can be the solutions? The problems we know, these are the communication problems. Most of them are communication problems. Like the buggy commit went into the system, nobody knows about it, right? And more problems like that. So from here, I'm going to take each problem one by one, and we're going to understand what are the causes of it and how a bot could have solved it. So to understand this, I'm going to give a quick brief about our ecosystem, how we operate, so that you can relate with it. So this is how typically happens. A developer is coding, and they push to their own feature branch. From here, when they feel confident, they take it to one common integration dev branch. From here, we decide a release day, not release day, sorry, code freeze day, and we take it to another branch called staging branch, where all the QA, where the QAs actually test it, so that we know we are not testing something which is constantly being changed by dev process. So we are testing a staging branch, and when we feel confident, we take it to master and release it. So it's everybody will have some or somewhere near around those lines, right? Okay. So we are using GitHub, like we can see. So we found exactly the problem is here. Problem is in this area. So we know that a buggy commit can come in any of these areas, either the dev or the test or from test to master. So can we do some safety net around it? So from here, I'm going to take one by one example so that we can understand easily rather than me saying all the problems and all the solution in the beginning. So let's look at first problem, the buggy commit. So back then we did not have enough of unit test coverage, enough of any sort of test coverage, automated test coverage. So for us, very important thing was the code should be at least reviewed properly. So it means at the last moment, some buggy code came without any review. That was a big problem. So so we've understood, okay, we do not want that to happen again. What should we do? We should have a mechanism to either stop it, prevent it, or take a reaction. So what Alice does is, Alice goes and as soon as it senses that something has been merged without any review, it goes and auto-reverts it and informs in the channel. So we are using communication channel, Slack, where it reports it back. Now, I know everybody's like, most of the people eyes are raising, oh my God, a bot is reverting my commit. It's so rude. And maybe opinionated about it. So we are going to discuss more about it in detail when we see the live demo, why auto-revert or why not auto-revert, or why do we need this? Because now some people, if they are advanced GitHub user, they will be knowing now that there is an approval feature already. We don't need it anymore. But there is a reason to it. I'll come to it again in the demo section. And this setting is actually, you can set in Alice that we want to do auto-revert or not, but still inform that this has happened. Another problem was no quick traceback. So what we noticed was, it was always the Iron Man, the tech lead or the Jarvis, someone in the team for whom we were dependent, like they only can check and find the buggy commits, not anybody else, because that requires probably a knowledge transfer or probably like very in-depth understanding about the system. So what we decided, okay, why can't we make things more transparent? Like instead of having everybody to understand how GitHub works or how Git works, can we make human readable interpretation of it? Then maybe everybody can understand. Exactly we did. So what we did was, in that sensitive area, the round circle area, whatever important event happens, we record them into Slack. Simple, like this. So this is just recording into one channel, like for one repository, one channel, which has a record that this branch has been merged to dev by this person. So for example, now, being a tester, I am aware that this feature was working fine at around 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. and it started breaking in evening. I do not need to go and ask like alarm, hey, nothing is working, or everybody come and check this. I can just find out from these commits, like after 5 p.m. what are the commits came, who were the developers. Probably those PRs only can be the reason behind breaking the build. And then talk to those respective developers only, or even as I go, I can become more mature and understand, okay, it was a front-end thing, this PR, back-end thing, this PR, only this is definitely this is the PR which may be buggy. Transparent system. Another problem was no danger sign board. So we understood that, okay, not everybody wants to make mistakes intentionally. Like like most of the testers think that developers make mistakes intentionally. It's not the truth. They don't want to, but it happens. So what we can do to prevent? So we figured out, okay, there are some sensitive things for us. Let's put an alarm, a monitoring around it, just like developers do for production system. So what we did, this is one of the example. So this is one of our important file, production start file in our repository. So whenever it changes, we want our release engineers or DevOps engineers to be notified so that they can take preventive actions, like if it is not going to break something in the system. So earlier it so used to happen that developers used to push something, release engineer is not aware of, and there used to be a clash again. You did not tell me, oh, I forgot, or I told you that day 15 days back, and those kind of collisions used to happen. Now they no longer happen because it happens everything in like either public or private, however it is supposed to be. Another problem, lack of awareness. So, so since we were still startup though, but yeah, we are growing like very, very fast. So a lot of transition happen, a lot of new people join in. This is of my personal interest. There is also a funny story behind it, but I'll talk about that later. So explaining one single thing to everybody every day becomes a tedious task. So we figured out, okay, can we do something more about it? Like everybody gets educated themselves. So we decided, okay, for example, a developer is keep on developing, and they do not inform you because they think that probably this is not yet ready completely or something like that, or they forget. And as a QA, as a tester, you feel that I was not informed this change is about to come. How can I plan testing for it? Or how can I decide the timeline, a release line for it? Those kind of problems. So what it does is, as soon as a developer merges to a potentially next pipeline, potentially going to dev or staging pipeline, a developer is notified directly like, hey, you have merged into this is potential to be released, inform the respective QA so that they can plan the bandwidth. And it has a benefit for QA as well, and self-learning for developers, like this is the process in the system, and it helps both the ways. So developer also can be prepared like, okay, I will need this kind of infrastructure, and they can keep informing the infra team accordingly. Another is this is very, very important thing for us. So it might happen that you have released something in the production and somehow missed to update the JavaScript version of the system. Happen so? And you are still figuring out Control-Shift-R, Command-Shift-R, why my UI is not updating. We forgot simply. So what we did was, okay, find out what are the top tasks we want before release or after release, make a checklist, and put it right there, from where the go-ahead happens. Rather than putting a checklist in a Bible somewhere in Jira or somewhere which nobody will open someday, put it right there. Because you know that release is going to go from master, so as soon as the pull request is raised from QA to master, just put it right there. And release engineer will not take it live, just one rule, if all are not checked. So yeah, simple. Solutions look simple, but they solve very big problems. Okay, so while we were doing this, we also analyzed, okay, these are the monitoring tasks, they are helping, good. Can we go more beyond it? And we figured out, okay, how can we make people understand system more better and follow best practices? So we went with, okay, let's make a talking bot. So we started with something like very simple things, very static things. You ask bot, like what is the release process? How can I take my patch live? It replies the static things. So I did it because I was getting this question every day 100 times from different people. I really got mad at it. I thought, okay, let bot reply them, and bot doesn't get mad. So yeah. Then we moved on and we figured out, okay, we can integrate more things. Why can't we do very tedious things very simple way? For example, my product manager, why should he or she spend time on understanding how to launch a machine in AWS, right? They want to do a demo to a client, and they quickly want to get ready, they just can come to Slack and say, hey, Alice, start this machine, and it will come up with the respective items. So it's giving power to my product manager also. It started with all side project, but seeing these tiny, tiny powers, they felt potential in it, and we kept building on top of it. Similarly, another example, like I can find out, like I'm not like constantly working with my team, let's say, and I want to find out and help them faster when they're stuck. I can just quickly check, like, what are the testing on? If something is wrong on that machine, I can just say, hey, which branch is deployed on this machine? It will quickly tell me. Okay, enough of talking. Let's see some moves. So, may the demo god be good with me. Okay, so I have kept some diff ready. We are going to eat dip dish pizza today, and this is my sample repository. So I'm going to create a pull request, and I say added dip dish pizza demo from the conf. I create pull request. So now what are the things is supposed to happen? Whatever is required for which team, right? So let's create this pull request. So we're using GitHub for the code and Slack for the communication. So respective things should happen. So I say create pull request. The moment I do, I'm just going to refresh this page. See, a checklist has come. So it reminds people to avoid mistakes. And something else should have happened. So let's go to Slack. And see, Slack has, Alice has pinged me that, hey, you have opened this, like in my case, I am opening and I'm doing, but generally, this will inform to the respective tech leads probably, or respective stakeholders, like these are the things happening in the system. For them, if it is of importance. For example, PR open is not of much importance, but probably PR merge is of importance, like PR is merged into master. It's releasable product, and release engineers to be informed, right? Let's go ahead. Yeah. So now this pull request you see, okay, sorry. This pull request which we are seeing is a HTML change, okay? So I'm coming to the first example again when I was talking about while the approval feature was there, why do we still need this kind of mechanism? Is because of this. So I have a rule setting that whenever in this file, particular file, changes happens, it means it's a product change. It's not just a tick change. So product approval is also required, which you cannot set directly into GitHub or any other system because they don't know your customized thing, what do you want. So I want one product plus one tech plus one, both of them on individual files, depend on need. So let's go ahead and merge this without any approval or without any test running, and see what happens. So see, this has got merged, and we see something has happened. So first see repo code. This should have the traceability information, which anybody in the system can understand. Even my HR should be able to understand what happened, right? And who did. So I don't know if somebody runs away someday, my HR should be able to tell easily. And release channel, which is of importance, is alerting, hey, very bad, Pooja, you have merged this without the product plus approval. So this is why it is important. So you can have your custom rules, okay, on these kind of directories, maybe not file, this kind of directories, this kind of approvals are needed. And that's where Alice plays the role. Yeah, see, I told you, simple solutions, but for difficult problems. So going ahead, coming to the more interesting part, this was all about monitoring. So let's say I want to know from Alice, like, hey, when is the next release? So now my QA team can feed Alice to remember the next release, and this is going to reply every time. So I did not feed it properly, so yeah. And with what items? Okay, I should tell Alice and what items, because it's not going to listen everything. We don't want that. So things like this can be be it static or be it dynamic. You can put this into some file where your API is reading live and pushing it back. If you feel like this is too much to talk in a public channel, you can just directly go to Alice and try talking. For example, okay, so hey Alice, which branch is on one of my test machines? So it's gonna go and try and find out, hey, this is the code on this machine. And so since we got this idea that we can tell Alice to do multiple things, so we created some more tools around it. So for example, we have a tool called Snooper, which Alice is listening and triggering. So it says, okay, if I want to see like my system everything is up or not, it goes and snoops on the system and finds out all the details. Yeah, required dependencies are installed, this is the code, and your processes are running or not running. I am saving at least 15 minutes. I need to go, log in, SSH into that machine and check it, and then say it. And it's gonna be frustrating if I do it often, right? So it does it right there. Yeah, so that's all. But lately I realized that one of my colleagues one day was just using it for stress busting. Like, hey Alice, get me coffee. So I was like, oh, make it fun. Yeah. And he got frustrated and he's like, hate you, Alice. And she's like, more smart. Like, yeah. Yeah, so you can, so the point of showing this demo and point of showing these things is, once you have such kind of mindset and you have a system in place, you can build anything around it. So we started with something like static things. We started with monitoring, sorry. With monitoring, we gave it more power. I'm sorry if you're recording, I need to change, this is my company thing. Okay. There will be slides properly, so you'll be getting to know. Okay. Yeah, so we started kind of from just giving a small recap. So we started from monitoring and gave it power. Okay, with monitoring, do this, inform these respective people, or prevent them to do something, or help them to understand something. And then we moved to static replies, dynamic replies, to do things. For example, I'll tell you example. My DevOps engineer, he has to get up at 4 a.m. to deploy something. He has to connect to that freaking VPN and go to the machine and do that every single day. No, just Alice on Slack, do this on this machine. But then it can be a security threat also, so then you can configure, hey, do it only if it's me. That's the point. Do it, or do it only it's for me. And same way for test engine also, they can start their machine right from the Slack. Like start this machine or stop this machine or check the status of this machine, what's happened. And we can also say that, hey Alice, do more intellectual things, like I have more needs. So one thing we did, like whenever code freeze happens, we want to inform everybody in the team, like this code freeze has happened, because I don't want to be like policeman and keep saying things every time. So Alice does it for us and have a record that this time this has happened. So easy to trace back. Okay, so this we did. We were succeeded in live demo, we don't need video. Yeah, so this is the next thing we did. So last time when we built, this was it. And the next thing we built is this. What do we see, what it is like? What it is like? Automated checks? Automated checks? So if I tell you everything is in-house, running on medium EC2 machine, costing us $30 only, and running across all of our repositories, would you go and pay Travis so much? Yes, we are doing it. So we have built a system on top of it. How we built, I'm going to tell you in the how section. So we built this system which runs all the tests and reports back on the right there in the PR. So it helps developers also getting quick feedbacks. It helps testers. They are not annoyed by deploying a syntactical errored code in the system and wasting their time, right? They are knowing that at least legitimate testable code is there and they are testing that. And the merge button gets enabled only if things are fine. So continuous integration is the not very new, but yeah, it's a good thing for us. That's all, I think. Oh, I'm kidding. I promised you pinky promise of how. Okay, so let's see the magic behind how this is working, what are the things which are making it work. So the secret is there is no magic. There's no magic. Everything was there. We just connected the dots. So the dots were this. GitHub APIs, Slack APIs, and the talking bot which you're seeing is a Hubot APIs, again open sourced by GitHub, and the Jenkins APIs. So Jenkins APIs are, you may call, I'm not talking about UI, or I'm not talking about the look of UI or speed of UI, but the APIs are awesome. They give you complete flexibility to do things on your own. So we connected all these dots, and it's free. So we connected all these dots, and this is how the system works. So what we do is, we have, so GitHub gives, whenever you create a pull request, GitHub has event generation. So it releases it creates an event called pull request, and which is what Alice is listening on GitHub's webhook. Webhook, you can think of just like an API trigger, so which Alice is listening on some server, and it parses it, makes meaningful decision on top of it, like what should I do with this pull request? Is there anything wrong happened with this pull request? Or is it an open event and you want me to inform to somebody? Or is there any CI check you want me to run? So it makes that meaningful decisions and calls respective services ahead, like Jenkins or Slack, and it's like a monitor in between. It's like a controller in between. It talks to everybody and brings out the results and bring it back to you on the same page. So this is how it works. Now, if you want to try, the good news is it's open source. It's github.com/moengage/Alice. And I have tried to document as much as possible to understand easily and configure in your own system. So you will be able to accept the CI. You will be able to do everything, whatever I talked, easily just in a configuration file where you say that on this event, I want to make this thing happen and inform this kind of people. You can do it very, very easily. So it's open source, and Pinky promised to keep it open sourced. So I want to give credits. We're coming to the end, and the biggest credit goes to the problems, because if those problems were not there, we would not have think of doing this. It's not that not everybody is doing. There are a lot of people doing this directly or indirectly, but maybe they are not ready to share or something. So I decided, okay, I want to build this and I want to share so that more collaboration happens, and we can solve more bigger problems around it. And the friends at work who helped day and night teaching me how API works, how can integration works, and yeah, team at moengage, all the APIs, and the photo credits, especially because I don't want to go behind bars of copyright infringement. So the future. So since we're coming to the end, I wanted to end with the future because I'm like very much excited about this project because of the several reasons. It solves, one is it solves a lot of problems for testers. As well, it solves a lot of problems for other teams and bring them together, collaborate more. And I do not believe in that concept like developer and testers have to be enemy. I believe that they have to be best friends to fight with each other and get the things done very easily. So that's my aim. And with that, I want to also announce one thing that we are trying to, with one of my friend at work, his name is Siddhant, we are trying to revamp this Alice project and make it more easily integration-wise. You can just go in GitHub and just click a button and fill some form, and it should be able to do it. So we are on it. But the release, I am not sure when we will do, probably like Chinese New Year, like Simon said. But yeah, I'm looking for people around, like-minded people who share the same pain points and wish to contribute back, because we want to also support other platforms, like instead of just Slack, say HipChat if you're using, or GitHub, Bitbucket you're using. Like, I get a lot of mailers asking this, that I want to use Alice for Bitbucket. I wish if I could do everything, but no, I cannot, because I'm not a regular user. I'll be a very bad tester if I do so. So I want people who can help come and contribute back to it. And we're going to add more generic solutions around it. So yeah, that's all I have. But I just want to finish it with one line. This talk was not, if you think that it was about a tool or bot, so I think it's not. It's about an idea. The idea I started for us was only one thing, that unreviewed commits were going into the system. And we figured out that from that idea, can we build multiple automation layers around so that we can solve multiple problems, which are ultimately leading to the quality assurance. So I want to leave you with this idea that anything you work, be it test automation or be it testing, if you think something is repetitively happening, try to talk to your other team members, your developers, your CTO probably, and believe that there will be a way to automate the solution so that you can concentrate on doing awesome testing and like finding awesome bugs with your human intelligence, creating time. That's all. Thank you.